We often overlook the flags shown in photographs of ships, but their designs and use offer interesting insight into maritime customs and operations. When someone hears the word ensign, they typically think of the prominent flag most often flown from the stern or near the stern of a ship. This flag would indicate the nationality of the ship, which, during the golden age of ocean liners, meant more than it does today in the era of so-called flags of convenience. But that is a topic for another video. Each country had their own protocols for the use of national ensigns on ships registered to their country. While the ensign could be exactly the same as the national flag used on land, this often was not the case. For example, the British ensign had multiple variations, the main ones being the red ensign, the blue ensign, and the white ensign. The white ensign was reserved for naval ships, and the red ensign for most civilian and merchant vessels, including large ocean liners. The blue and red ensign designs included the Union Jack in the upper left corner, with the rest of the flag being a blue or red field respectively. The white ensign was the same, but it also included a cross of St. George. The blue ensign was perhaps the least common of the British ensigns, and was only allowed to be used by vessels under the command of an officer of the Royal Navy Reserve, which also had 10 or more officers or crew who were also officers of the Royal Navy Reserve. Even then, the captain must have applied for a warrant to fly the blue ensign after meeting the requirements. In practice, many of the larger British ocean liners flew the blue ensign because their captains were commonly in the Royal Navy Reserve and had enough crew to meet the requirements. In addition to the national ensign at the stern, ships would often fly what is called a courtesy ensign. It is an appropriate name for the flag typically flown from the ship's foremast. The courtesy ensign typically indicated the ship's destination while underway or at its port of origin. For example, Titanic flew an American courtesy ensign while docked in Southampton on April 10th, and while transiting the English Channel toward Cherbourg, France. When in a foreign port, the courtesy ensign flown at the foremast was normally changed to the flag of the respective country. Therefore, when Titanic entered Cherbourg on the evening of April 10, 1912, her American courtesy ensign was temporarily replaced with a French one, which was then subsequently replaced again with the American one after leaving Cherbourg. Since Ireland was not yet independent from Britain in 1912, Titanic continued to fly the American courtesy ensign while in Queenstown. Once the ship was at sea, most flags were lowered, including the courtesy ensign. Since flags get battered at high winds over time, this would have largely been a matter of practicality and cost savings. Of course, the courtesy ensign would be raised again as the ship approached New York, for example. This was typically done within 50 miles of shore. The national ensign at the stern, however, would normally be flown for the entirety of the crossing.